Welcome back to Art with Dr. Deb. Today I'm going to be doing another unboxing, and the unboxing I'm going to do is for another mineral paper. Remember a couple of videos ago, and I'll include the link in the show notes, I reviewed a type of mineral or stone paper. Well, I got a new brand from the Karst company, and their website is karststonepaper.com. Now, I'm just now unboxing it, and it's very nice packaging. It says, "Get ready to write your own story. We believe that better tools help you to do better work. That's why we work from first principles to bring you the tools you need to focus on what matters most. The product in your hands has been designed to capture the thoughts, ideas, and insights that'll serve as tomorrow's inspiration and the tasks and to-dos that will shape today." So many of their products are notepads for writing notes and things like that, but they also do have multimedia papers, which watercolor is a type of medium, so that's why I purchased these. And I ended up getting two different products. One is the stone paper sketch pad, and it's a 240 GSM, which is about 140 pounds, and it's very well wrapped. I have to figure out how to open it here. My fingernails may not be strong enough to get it. There I go. I'm getting it unwrapped here. So this is it, and let me take off the little strap that is holding the pad in place. And here's the pad. And this is a very nice cover. It is plastic, it feels to be, and it's pretty heavyweight. And the paper is bright white. It feels like vellum, such as the other mineral paper did. And then the other product I purchased is the stone paper sketchbook, which also is 240 GSM or 140 pounds. So very comparable to what I normally use for watercolor. Sometimes I use 300-pound watercolor paper, but most of the time I use 140 in blocks. So this is also difficult to open, but I have a tool here, which may or may not work. There, I think I got it. So here's the sketchbook, and it's an A4 size. And that is because this company is not US based, although it was sent from a California address. The measurements are European. So here's the sketchbook. It is a hardcover sketchbook, and it has a front page where I can put my name and my contact information. It has a little information booklet in the back, which says "Take note today, shape tomorrow," and it's just a little ad for all their different products. Oh, here's some interesting information about how they make their product. Each metric ton of Karst stone paper saves 2,770 liters of water, 18 large timber trees, 950 kilograms of carbon dioxide, and 4,720 kilowatts of energy. And here's some aspects about stone paper. They call theirs stone paper. The other brand calls it mineral paper, but it's the same thing. Okay, it's waterproof and tear resistant, 100% recyclable and tree free, 60% lower carbon footprint, friction free writing, no bleaches or additives, commercially compostable material. So that's some interesting information about it. Now, the sketchbook also has, oh, as I drop things, an elastic strap for me to put wherever I last did some work to keep my pages in place. And it does feel substantial. The paper does feel substantial. So the next thing I will do will be to actually put some water on it and some color. And I think I will use the smaller pad because it is the same weight as the sketch pad, but the pages are a little bit smaller. So I will see you at my workstation. So here we are with the stone paper by Karst, and this is not the sketchbook, it's the pad that I got. And you open it up, you can see it's nice, white, and bright, and you can actually pretty easily remove a page from the book. Just sort of rip it out. It makes a pretty clean edge. So I'm going to put the book aside and just use the paper. Now I think I will tape it down so it doesn't wiggle around any. So I'm only going to put a little bit of tape down just to hold it in place. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to paint because basically I'm just doing some experimentation like I did with the other mineral paper or stone paper, whatever you want to call it. This brand calls it stone paper. And as I said, it seems to be sort of vellum in feel. So it's almost like a cross between a cold press and a hot press watercolor paper. So I think what I'll first do is lay down some water and see what kind of wash I can put onto it. And I'll be sort of comparing it to the other brand that I used. And let's see, what color of paint do I want to use? I have this kind of messy plate palette with some sort of teal blue color. I think I will start with. It's more of a green. And the paint sort of beads up while it's wet. I'll get some more paint, put it on a little bit more darkly. So that's some wet on wet. Dry off my brush a bit, and now we'll do some wet on dry on the lower part. This is sort of beading up a bit as well, sort of like you might see on Yupo. Put some hills there. Some more of my wet on wet color.
Yeah, it's more wet on dry, but what I'll do is just sort of see what happens as I put it on. And I think I'll go back in and see if I can make some clouds with some paper towel or toilet paper. Just do some just a little bit. And then I will put some salt on the bottom part for some texture, like I did before. Just let's see what happens. Now, while this dries, I did go ahead and make a painting in the sketchbook. And hold on and I'll show that to you. Let's see. So in the sketchbook, I just did wet on dry and made a tree, which I found it worked out very well. I was able to go back and layer color, and I found that I could put in texture pretty easily. It did not lift up in the way Yucca would if you re-wet it. The paint stays down pretty well. You can lift it sort of as though you were lifting off of, say, hot press. And I think this tree came out to look like what it's supposed to look like. Now we'll just wait for this piece to dry, and I'll come back and add some more detail. Okay, I'm back again now that the stone paper has dried. And one thing I should point out is the salt doesn't wipe off very easily, but as opposed to regular cotton paper, the salt is not likely to damage the stone paper because salt is a mineral and the stone paper is made of calcium carbonate. So the salt actually becomes embedded into the stone paper. Now, what I'm going to do is I have some schmanky paints. They're granulating desert series, and I'm going to put on some of those colors pretty much as a little bit of wet on wet to see what happens now that we've got sort of a first layer. So, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I'm just putting in some contours just to see what happens as I wet the paper up a bit more. And I'm using, what color am I using? I'll tell you in a second. I'm using the desert orange color, and I also have the desert green color out. And as many people who have seen some of my art know, I like to do sort of lots of texture in my work, especially in landscapes. Put in some of the green. And I'm just using it to sort of contour. And as you notice, if I were using Yapo, the base coat, my first wash would be just coming straight up. Whereas with the mineral or stone paper, the first coat stays down unless, let's see if I can actually lift some of it. Over here, I'm going to try lifting, put down some water and rub it, take a piece of paper towel or something, and it does lift. And probably depending on the type of color one is using, it'll lift more or less well. The same thing as with cotton paper. for example, you know, anything that says phthalo, it's not going to lift very well. Let me see if I try to lift up here. Yeah, even this blue turquoise type of color I have lifts fairly well. And I can smooth it out again. Now back down below, I'm going to mix my orange and my green a bit. And just sort of drop it on. And maybe I'll throw a tree or something in here. Do a Bob Ross happy tree thing. Let's see what I've got here on my palette that's kind of darker. Make sort of a tree shadow. Just some big tree-shaped thing here. One thing I should point out about this stone paper is that it does not buckle, which, you know, a lot of people become frustrated with cotton paper because of the buckling. Most of us just, some people will stretch their paper, others of us just tape it down. And I know there are ways to iron your paper after painting on it. I've never had much success with that, and I don't have enough patience to stretch my paper. So I tend to paint using blocks. But one nice thing about with the stone paper or mineral paper, it doesn't stretch. It's just what it is. Okay, let's see what happens if I spray, let's see, find my granulation medium. I have some granulation medium here. Now this is by Winsor & Newton. I'll just dab a little bit on, see what happens. Dab it in places I would like things to happen, some magic to happen. And I see that the paint is moving a bit. Probably if I raise my painting, it will flow a bit more. And let's see, where is my alcohol spray? You know, with the mineral paper, the alcohol spray did cause the paint to move significantly, but it also does that on cotton paper as well. So I'm going to put little more dots of the orange in places. And give a little bit of the spray. If I can get it to spray. Helps to have the nozzle open. Well, maybe it's not going to spray. It's dripping, but not spraying. Sprayed last time. Okay, I'll just shake some drops on, and it is moving the paint around a bit. I will have to fix that later. But yes, it is moving the paint around and creating interesting looking patterns. And I can move the alcohol around in different ways. Put some more green in. And some more of the orange. And you can see that I'm actually able to make very nice looking texture patterns on the stone paper, which I think is a fun thing to do. Now, you may want to try this out. Again, it's sort of in between using a hot press and a cold press paper, and it can be used for making some interesting effects. And it does have some aspects that make it fun, including the fact that it doesn't buckle, and you can put layers of color on it. So it may be something for you to think about. It is something different, takes a little bit of time to figure out its properties, but it could be a fun thing to do. So now I have demonstrated to you two different brands of mineral or stone paper, and I've shown you what you can do with them and some of their positive aspects and negative aspects. So it's up to you to decide if you want to try it out or not. So if you have found this video to be of use, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the notification bell. And if you want to help me purchase more products for me to review, I do have a Patreon, and I'll put the link down below. And I will also put the website for the Karst paper so you can check it out to see if you would like it. Additionally, I'll put a link to the video in which I also looked at the mineral paper, and you can decide if you want to try that one as well. So I will be having some more products coming soon, and so look forward to my next video, and I'll see you then. Thanks, bye.